Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we got an unpopular notes video, and this is 30 disturbing clips that ruined my day. We're gonna get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. The like button, subscribe button, comment, thing down below. Let's go.
Harrowing elevator flood escape. Being trapped in an elevator is a lot of people's worst nightmare, but when it does happen, the last thing you want to deal with is a fear of drowning. These young people found out firsthand what this nightmare is like.
It's just crazy because you only see this in a movie. You don't see someone trapped in an elevator every day with water filling up.
During a massive storm in Nebraska, this group went down to check out the flooding. It seems like going down via elevator was a wrong decision though, because suddenly the little box began filling quickly up with water, leaving them on a time limit to when space and air would run out. They were up to their necks in the water, unable to escape and unsure if they would.
Honestly, I would say this is number one, the most scariest thing in my life. Yep.
I could see why that'd be scary, but also, in what world would you want to go check out flooding that was going on? The last thing I'm going to want to do is go check out flooding for a reason. It's because a lot of flood doesn't bother me. I don't want to know. I don't want to be near the water. I don't want to possibly get stuck or anything. No.
Down.
Luckily they were rescued, but not before having to frantically reach out for help, knowing if they weren't saved, they could, in fact, die.
I told them, hey,
yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna die in here if you guys don't come and try to do something.
Sometimes it's better not to go in and investigate on your own. If you're somewhere safe, it might be better to just stay there.
Agreed.
Hockey player has heart attack. This clip starts off normally, as an amateur hockey team of older players begins their game.
This game was being live streamed, and the players suddenly found themselves fighting to help save the life.
One man begins to slide off camera as he goes into cardiac arrest. Both teams quickly call to action with a person down to aid in the situation. Luckily, someone was on the scene, ready to perform CPR on the player, bringing him back to life. Certainly hockey can be exciting and the games can keep you on the edge of your seat, but rarely do you encounter a game that's so life or death the actual stakes are, well, someone's life. Locked hallway cryptid jump scare.
I just have to say, please don't tell me that guy continued playing after having a heart attack. Please tell me they did not have him play that game.
Sometimes the creepy things we find are better left unknown. Whether this video is clever editing or something genuinely terrifying, brace yourself for this clip because it's a jump scare like you won't believe. This TikTok user, Austin OGs, turned on his camera flash and filmed a clip of what looks like a locked gate. While there's little to see, you're better off not watching for too long. Something from the deep depths of the hallway suddenly comes running towards the camera, just in time for the video to cut off. It's unclear what it was or how they achieved that, but maybe it's better to leave locked hallways mysteriously locked. Don't poke your head where you might not get it back, you know? Nightmare in Corona Costco.
That was cleverly done. Cleverly edited right there. That was clever.
Going out for groceries shouldn't be the last thing you do. This man's family is seeking justice against the off-duty LAPD officer who made sure to make that nightmare their reality. This clip happens just as quickly as it begins. What could have been an ordinary moment in the deli section of this Corona Costco quickly turned for the worst, as a developmentally disabled man was wounded and killed by an officer who was also wounded the man's family. The clip is quick and to the point, but no less horrifying. The off-duty officer opened fire on the family almost as if out of nowhere. 1 second things are fine and the next the world has changed for this French family. Off-duty police officers going above and beyond the call of duty isn't always such a good thing. Unfortunately, more and more we learn that it's really actually a bad idea. This clip here shows another perspective, one from the Corona officer's point of view.
Are you injured? No, I guess not. I thought I got shot in the back of my head.
He claims he thought he was shot in the back of his head, something that clearly hadn't happened as he's perfectly fine and able to speak. What we're treated to, though, is the realization he makes as he's speaking on camera. Of course, the two parties weren't the only people in the Costco. Eyewitnesses at the 2022 trial recounted the event. A Costco employee who saw the entire situation go down.
After you turned around to look for a manager, what did you do next?
I heard the gunshot, and that's when I
Of course, this situation isn't as cut and dry as it feels. The man, who as we've said was developmentally handicapped, had supposedly punched Sanchez in the back of the head. The witness recounts how quickly the situation went down on her shift. She'd barely turned around to tell her boss about the altercation before she'd heard the gunshot go off. It seems to happen out of the blue. We have the clip enhanced to show what happened, but you never really know, do you? He rushed in on him, and in a moment of panic, or perhaps self-defense as he claims, Sanchez's gun went off. It didn't just go off though, it went off 10 times at the unarmed family, who got caught in the crossfire. No charges were filed against the former officers. The grand jury decided there wasn't enough evidence for the manslaughter charge. The family will likely never get a resolution as the officer was released from the charge, and if I were them, I'd probably avoid Costco altogether.
I'm gonna have to leave that one alone. That is one where I don't actually have enough information to go off of. Because, I mean, yeah, if a guy punched him in the back of the head, I don't think shooting him is the immediate go-to. I still would say that's probably a bit over-exaggerated. That's a bit of a dangerous overreaction. Because if I get punched, the first thing I ain't gonna do is turn around and shoot the person punching me. Okay? I don't know how he didn't get charged, but you know, he's a fucking police officer who's shocked he got away with it.
Robbery at a Williamson home. Imagine being the occupant of this Williamson home and knowing that these 3 dangerous-looking fellows are coming into your home. How would you react? They have hoods over their heads and their faces are covered with a mask as they make their way into the house through the garage. At first I thought they were here to steal one of the cars, but it appears that they have a more dangerous plan in mind. They made their way into the house, shot one of the occupants, and pistol whipped the other. You can see them bursting into the home through the kitchen door with guns drawn.
Every night I wake up probably 10 times a night in a panic attack.
The holes in the walls and banister were left there by their bullet, and till today, these miscreants have not been apprehended. The homeowners say that they're afraid to sleep in their home now, especially since they feel their assailants were people familiar with their home because of how they moved.
Like panicking if I hear a noise, thinking the dogs jump off the bed, I think it's somebody coming in the room.
Can you see one of them grab a camera off the dining table? The homeowners say a stranger wouldn't know that camera was there, especially in the dark. Unhinged Burlington attack. Much of the footage from this incident is far too graphic to show. A man taking his anger and aggression out on a local Burlington after being approached by a worker. This sort of out-of-left-field aggression and violence is hard to reconcile, as it feels entirely unhinged from reality. He assaults a few of the customers, which will not be showing from the clips from. When the officer gets on the scene, they're a little late. The brutalized customers left marks all over the floor. They also find the attacker at the end of the aisle. The briefest altercations ensue, and the officers remove the belligerent attacker. Unfortunately, they also find that someone was hiding in the dressing room, only to be caught in the crossfire. You never know what might affect the people around you. They had to move fast and act even faster. We may never know this attacker's real motives, whether this was targeted or just an unhinged person's way of fighting back against something he disliked. Not all crimes leave us wondering. Sometimes it's dead simple. Human-like creature pulled from the sea.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
In this short video clip, a man holds up a sea creature that resembles a human head and torso. The creature doesn't have any—
It's like a giant gingerbread man. Well, there's something I can make off a cookie dough. There's no way this is an actual real thing. I don't buy this as a real creature at all. No fucking way.
anything that resembles a human face, with no visible eyes, nose, or mouth, but its overall shape is very similar to that of a human being. The creature looks to be alive as well. It wriggles in the man's hand. The man doesn't look frightened by the creature, but he does look confused as to what it actually is. More than what he seemed. Working the ground at a mall, this police officer catches someone acting out immediately. Approaching a man drinking out of a bottle in his bag, it quickly becomes an issue as he realizes not only is he drinking, but the man is underage drinking in public.
Yo, Atlanta police, stop. Stop. Because we have an open container of alcohol. In public, you can't have an open container of alcohol. Give me your alcohol. Give me your ID. Your ID.
I don't have it on me.
Where's your ID?
I left it at home.
How old are you? Not 21.
Yeah.
Right. I can have you arrested right now. I should arrest you. How old are you? You're 19?
Yes, sir.
Right. Step over here.
In the end, things calm down, leaving the two standing off as the officer runs his background check. He says he can maybe let him off with a verbal warning, letting him off the hook.
Running on warrants and warrants, make sure you don't have any crazy warrants or anything like that. And I'm gonna get you out of here with just a verbal warning on the alcohol, okay? I'm gonna suggest you don't approach women in that manner.
Yes, sir.
I'm also giving you a warning for your possession of alcohol being under 21.
Appreciate that.
Where you parked at?
I came here through Uber.
Through an Uber?
Yes, sir.
How are you gonna get home?
Uber back.
Where you live?
I live in near the McCoy area on the east side. You know where that is?
You Ubered from there over here?
Yes, sir. I was just trying to find a new mall, you know.
Alright man, this is what I'm gonna suggest. I'm gonna suggest you leave the mall, okay?
Yeah, I'll leave
that way
the mall.
we don't get any more issues about you.
Yeah.
You don't get into any trouble. You're already intoxicated. You're out here, you're doing dumb things, approaching young women.
Yeah.
Okay? Or young girls.
That's the exit, right?
There's an exit over there, there's an exit over here.
Okay.
So you choose.
He looks fine now. What does this guy get him up to that makes him more than what he seems?
Yep.
However, that doesn't last for long. The cop follows him out of the mall. When the 19-year-old believes he's finally in the clear after all that time and waiting and standing, things shift a little. The cop has just one more line of questioning.
Alright, I'll be on my way now.
Hey Sebastian, before you go, you're free to leave and everything. You have anything on you that would, drugs, guns, bombs, anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay.
I
You mind if
smoked earlier, though.
So you have some weed on you?
No, not anymore.
Okay. You mind if I conduct a search of your person real quick?
I don't think you can.
I'm asking.
No.
What do you have inside your bag?
Just some stuff that I need to get home.
Okay. Do you mind showing me?
As the officer repeatedly asks him if he can search his person, the man's behavior grows erratic.
Next time I see you here,
Okay.
I see it. It's a jar, and it's got a little bit of weed in it.
Okay.
You think
I
I'm dumb?
just finished it.
Okay.
With the... when
Is
I
that what's
smoked
inside your bag?
it. Yeah. That's it.
Just the weed?
Yeah.
Okay. Take off your bag. Don't resist. You're gonna make it a lot worse than you need to. Take off your bag.
Sir, please.
The power struggle doesn't last long because the detained man runs. While he has a clear exit, the man circles back. The cop runs after him, but only after the man opens fire.
Signal 43! Signal 43! Signal 43, follow Millennia. White male, white Hispanic male running. He's going towards Millennia Boulevard. He's got a gun. He's just shot at me.
He wants to ensure he gets away no matter the cost. Of course, this officer goes running, still committed to keeping his community safe even in the face of open gunfire, even if it ends up being fruitless.
Yo! He must have just crossed somewhere around here. He's a hotel Mike. Black hair. No facial hair. Tattoos.
That's the one thing about in a scenario, right? Because an officer, to use the little radio thing, has to like kind of stop what they're doing to do it. And makes them slower than running, which gives the other person time to get away. It's a very stupid thought process. It makes it way more tough.
Massive accident in Ohio. Car flips.
Car flips!
It's never good when you see someone driving erratically. This dashcam caught the terrifying moment of someone driving too fast and swerving out of control. The car seems to lose its grip on the road, sending it careening into a pole and flips over entirely.
Holy shit!
The clip continues to show the moments where the woman is rescued from the vehicle, pulled from the scene, and dragged off camera, as well as her mugshot. Luckily, the person behind her caught the entire death-defying interaction, and everyone in the car got out alive. Takeover robbery in North Tryon, Charlotte. Here's the baby-faced armed robber clearly caught on the surveillance camera before he had the presence of mind to disguise his appearance with a nose mask. Thieves aren't always the smartest tools in the shed, are they? The clothing is the usual nondescript black on black with a hoodie and a belated nose mask. He walked into the Galaxy One arcade on North Tryon, Charlotte at exactly 5 a.m. in the morning, quickly brandishing a gun and ordering everyone to leave the arcade. Now left with the clerk, he orders the clerk to lead him into the office where he forces the scared clerk to place all earnings into a black bag and subsequently slips away with the money.
The suspect has a baby face, but he's a very dangerous individual. This suspect was able to take a firearm off the security guard inside the business.
Police are actively looking and will be boosted by the thief's amateur mistake that left his face clearly visible on the security camera. Old, cramped elevator.
Well, it clearly doesn't matter if he got if he's still away and you're still looking for him, clearly it doesn't matter that he showed his face because y'all can't find him.
Elevator. An old elevator is one thing. Most elevators in older cities and buildings have issues. This one, however, feels torn out of an old horror movie. The heavy, bulky metal gates swing slowly closed behind the passenger, and the walls are chipped and peeling. As he turns to look around at the control panel, you can see the unfamiliar, archaic controls meant to bring you up and down. Assuming you feel comfortable at this point like the passenger was, you're treated to an old, almost forgotten-like noise as it goes down the shaft. The person directing the elevator has to adjust several times because the system is not automatic, something that most people take for granted in modern elevators, which open, close, and adjust themselves automatically as it goes, before he's finally in the right place. Can open his gates, and then open the door. There are enough steps to this that I'd rather just take the stairs. Clumsy robber.
Yeah, that's another way that seems like a humongous pain in the ass to operate, even back in the day. That's probably why they had elevator people. They're like, let's have other people do. We'll hire someone, pay someone to do that. Well, no one else has to.
Watch as this man who's said to have robbed a credit union in Louisiana. You can see as he tried to make his escape. He fell the first time, flailing as he fell, his arms flying all over the place like he doesn't have control of it. Then he falls again, those arms flailing as they did before. He gets up, tries to run again, and guess what? He falls a third time. What kind of robber falls 3 times trying to escape after committing a crime?
That's 1, 2, 3 times.
One of the men watching the viral video has the right words. You just have to fall once.
He's a lucky man, because all you gotta do is fall once. At least that's the way it is in the movies.
Another comments that he has never seen a thing like this in all his life.
Man, you got to be out of your mind.
It's the craziest thing to watch. The clumsiness and inability to stand on his feet should have disqualified him from the job. Here's the kicker though. He got away.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
Man, ain't no way.
And he got away.
Man.
How does he manage to get away after...
That's the thing, like, even most of the people were just like, this guy got away after that. Y'all were bad at your job. That'd be man, I'm like, y'all just crossed that. That's insane. When this guy can fall 3 times and your ass is still can't get him, I mean, what else do you want me to say?
Falling so many times? Were his chasers falling with flailing arms too? He managed to drop his mask and some of the cash in his clumsiness before he got to his getaway car and escaped. This must be the weirdest escape of a criminal ever recorded. Even the people he robbed would get a good chuckle out of this video. Natural gas explosion in Durham. When you see the thick black smoke and the huge fire with its roaring tongue breaking through the roof and rising high into the atmosphere, you'd think it's only visible on screen. But this fire is visible for miles and seen by many scared people in Durham. First, a gas leak was reported and the fire department swung into action, evacuating many people within the area moments before the explosion described as being similar to an earthquake.
A lot of people down here need to be evacuated, and I'll need at least 1 more unit.
The magnitude of the fire and the thick black smoke speaks volumes about the magnitude of the danger to the people within the area. Watch the devastation the fire left in its wake and you'll understand how scary this is. The quick thinking of the firefighters helped save a lot of people within the area.
I got a female in the containment zone who has glass and debris in her head.
You can also see them carry victims out of the area in a makeshift stretcher. Creepy tomb. There's nothing more haunting than stumbling on an old gravesite. Something that TikToker Sky Rascals found out firsthand. Their exploration of this ancient cave system unearthed some terrifying, clearly man-made structures, like a geological mausoleum carved into the side of a cliff. They make their way through as it shows stone beams holding up the caves. It's never safe to go into old caves like they did, but there's something uniquely built about this. It looks like something ripped out of a sci-fi movie from a far-off planet in Star Wars. They light some candles to give the creepy carvings some atmosphere while they explore, and it does feel every bit as haunted as it can.
How creepy is that? Ben's lighting some of the candles now so we can explore properly. It seems like we should be doing a seance in here.
Can you imagine stumbling on something half as terrifying as this? Especially with candles, if they left those lying around. That's advanced level heebie-jeebies. Abandoned crypt. Have you ever stumbled on something you can't explain? TikToker Dawn Taylor did just that in the backwoods forests.
It is... I have no idea what it is.
She and her dog walked up to what looked a lot like an old coffin, just cracked open with what looked like decades of moss and residue caked on the stone. As they keep walking, you can see as the dog seems very interested in whatever it is, despite Doc thinking it had something to do with the waters.
I think it's just something to do with the water system.
According to the commentators, it's likely a coffin or burial vault, a lined, sealed outer receptacle that houses a casket. It's meant to protect the casket from the weight of the world above and the earth around it and keep water out and help the ground from settling. What it's doing here, though, in the middle of the woods, is unclear, but definitely not the kind of thing any of us would want to see on a midday stroll, that's for sure.
We'll have to ask the internet.
Gator demands to have its rights respected.
I mean, Gator rights, you don't mess with Gator rights. Listen, you can mess people's rights. They do it all the time. Police officers ain't gonna mess no Gator's rights. That Gator take his aim and take your life for it. The other one out there start bitching. Gators don't have time to start bitching. They just start attacking. Always respond with violence is their thought.
Karen Balamain of Kenner, Louisiana called 911 when an alligator got on her driveway and decided it wasn't going anywhere.
I've never seen an alligator hiss like that.
The gator was hiding from the hot sun under Karen's car, and she only got to see it when she moved her vehicle. But trying to get the beast out of the way proved to be a task beyond her.
So I just came in here and got straight into my car. There was this giant thing.
She called Kenner police, who in turn called animal control. Even with the animal control guys on the scene, the gator still vehemently refused to leave the driveway, turning and tossing in protest of its right to get some shade where it could.
Oh, it is now.
The alligator is 6 feet long and puts up a strong fight for its spot.
Gator's like, I just want to be in the shade. Am I hurting nobody? I ain't hurting nobody. Why are y'all trying to cause problems? I'm just trying to get some shade. Why are y'all trying to make me bad man?
He took up almost the whole driveway.
An alligator trapper came along and helped resolve the situation. He took off his top and wrapped it around the gator, then lay right on top of it.
He took his shirt off, and he said when you take the shirt off and cover the alligator, it calms him down, and it did.
Whether he's trying to cool or warm it up, I can't tell, but whatever he was doing was working, and the gator appears to be calmer than earlier. A Kenner police officer comes up and helps to tie up the gator's mouth before the gator trapper carries the beast into a van and took it to where it was released back to a habitat it would be more familiar with. Watching that shirtless man trying to calm the gator down is both funny and weird, but since it worked, I guess it works. Don't try this at home. Floating head caught on camera. This video was taken by a security camera in Mexico. In it, something that looks like—
Oh, we've seen this a whole bunch of times. This isn't new. We've seen this shitload of times.
a human head flies around over a yard. There are a couple of dogs in the yard and they start to bark aggressively at the thing flying above them. After the head floats around the yard for a few moments, it hovers over to a sidewalk where it seems to take the form of a full human body. Body cam in the line of fire. Going to the mall is a time full of fun and quick buys. They've died off in recent years, but we're left with a certain level of nostalgia for the joy we've had in the past. These days, malls aren't quite the same, but are they possibly the opposite? This body cam footage shows the moments when officers realized something bad was happening at the local mall. These Columbus, Ohio officers had no time to lose. When you get a call like this, time is of the essence.
What? My son is inside. Okay, well, we gotta go deal with business.
I've got the black hoodie with a hood up so far.
Black hoodie with a hood up is what we're looking for so far.
These cops show the moments as they run headfirst into danger, something that many police officers have to do day after day. You never know what will be on the other side of that door, especially in enclosed spaces like shopping malls.
I got the left side because I'm a lefty here. What's the
The other caller said that there was 43As in Oshkosh too. We can check that also.
Where'd the gunshots come from?
The mall.
Okay, the main mall. All right.
Please open that door.
We gotta get through. We gotta get through.
Together, the officers make their way through the store. They have limited information, following orders and trying to locate the sound of the shots. Walking through the mall, they quickly realize this isn't the right place to be.
Thank you.
Time is of the essence, every second counts, and they take off running, hoping it's not too late.
Take that off, I can't hear you.
The guy had a sweater, he went this way, then he went upstairs. We're getting a description from one of the,
They must cross the mall, ambling after limited intel. Whatever clues and information they can catch, they take off.
That's when we've got officers inside. First floor, second floor, we're looking for a victim.
As they cross through the eerily emptied mall, they stumble. They're looking for a victim. Malls can be terrifying, but it's good to see the other perspective, the one where even those in danger are being looked after.
Alright, Coop, you two check that out. Yeah, we'll go, yeah.
That's one where,
I will, I'm with you.
one of the witnesses said he got kicked to the second floor and disappeared in front of Macy's. So I don't know if he's a victim or a shooter. You can give Westerville a call, let him know.
Go upstairs, maybe?
Yeah, we're up in St. Louis.
I don't know where Oshkosh is.
Can somebody stop over to Good Energy? We've got people, employees that are hiding in the bathroom over there.
Cops, while being recorded the entire time their camera is switched on, must be trained to keep their utmost attention on their surroundings. In some cases, they're trained to not only catch criminals, but defuse things before they become a crime. What happens when you're wrong, or in this cop's case, not correct enough? Mistakes happen, but how do you handle that when your job is quite literally life or death? Carjacking at the airport. You might feel safe at an airport.
It must be so hard to catch someone inside a mall, because a mall always has multiple different exits, multiple different areas you can enter, and if you just ain't paying attention enough, you could be completely, the person could easily get away.
Airport, but never know who's watching.
A newly released video showing a woman being carjacked and kidnapped at the city's airport. Police say the two suspects are just 14 years old. Ed Gallick takes a closer look at the difficulty of finding justice in cases like this, even when the crime is caught on camera.
This woman was returning to her vehicle when two teenagers snuck into the back of the vehicle. What happens inside the car is unclear, but the woman quickly acts. She begins blasting on her horn, causing a scene, but the carjackers won't let her out of the vehicle. Despite being young, just 14 as the clip explains, these teen boys have gained total control of the vehicle over the grown woman. People run up to save the woman, but the carjackers yank her back in and quickly try to drive off. One teen was found and convicted, while the other managed to get away.
Ma'am, what's going on?
They stole my car.
Okay.
I was parked at the airport. I'm okay. I tried to find them.
Despite the crime being caught on camera, with witnesses and everything that might have been necessary, the victim was having a hard time getting justice, as they couldn't find or convict the juvenile who went missing.
Which way did the car go?
That way.
Do you know the plate?
I can't.
It's okay, it's okay.
Scary coffins float on Louisiana streets. Trouble never comes in manageable chunks. If you've ever had to deal with flooding, you know how devastating it can be, but the worst is when the flood begins to unearth coffins and carry them around the streets. Here's one thing everyone unanimously agrees with: when a body is buried, it should stay buried. But for some parts of Louisiana, there will have to be a reburying of unearthed bodies. The flood was so bad that the government had to declare a state of emergency as the devastating flood continued to wreak havoc on Louisiana communities following what was over 17 inches of rainfall. The coffins are in different stages of decay, from fresh-looking, recently buried, to ugly and decaying bits. You don't want to walk out of your house at night and see any of these floating by. It'll give you the biggest scare of your life. Besides the coffins floating above the water down the streets, you can see the flood rising in places. Notice the adorable puppies. Look away if you're a cat person.
Unbelievable.
Hopefully he got them to a safe place before the flood rises even further in the area.
It was 2 inches when I left this morning, and it's now about 3 feet in my house.
Wow.
So, I'm just trying to get these dogs out, and I'm good now. I gotta find a shelter.
In the same way that he's running about to get them to safety, you can imagine that others are scrambling as well. Werewolf creature spotted again. This video was captured just weeks after the werewolf-like creature was spotted outside the Amarillo Zoo. This footage was taken from a home security camera located in La Union, New Mexico, leading people to believe that the creature may be moving south. In this video, the creature sprints across the driveway and is on camera for less than a second. However, if you pause the video, you can see that its silhouette is very similar to that of the Wolfman from Amarillo.
On. That is a... Oh boy, y'all are desperate to come up with different things, aren't you? Y'all just desperate.
The two sightings happened just weeks apart from each other, making it seem that this wolf creature may really be out there. Sunglass Hut heist gone wrong.
But The fact that it's been weeks makes me more convinced that it's not the same. It would not be a creature, because there'd be way more than 2 signs of this creature in weeks.
Nothing can really prepare you for the worst, especially not when you forget your every move is being caught on camera. You have to act fast, but you need to be able to keep your head on straight too. While loss prevention was patrolling Tyson's Corner Center's Nordstrom, a man was observed looking through the sunglasses display. They began watching him closely as they believed he would steal from them. Officers were called when this was proven true, and dressed-down officers were dispatched to take care of the thief. It's a slow chase, but a chase nonetheless. Some officers might have called it quits, but this one doesn't want to let his guy get away. Before he can get too far, the runaway thief is struck twice in the chest. He's properly subdued, hitting the ground hard. As soon as the scene is flooded and their perp is caught, they render the attacker aid to make sure that the shots to his chest hadn't done any more. While it was obscured and unclear here, we do learn later that these shots were fatal, and to think it may have all been over a pair of designer glasses. This is all part of the—
Wait, why did they shoot him? Okay, now back of— why did you shoot him? He was running, so you shot him? That's messed up. I'm sorry, I think that's kind of really messed up.
The job. When you take on the badge, you're bound to deal with people who are ready to die for their crimes eventually. But what if you felt like your crime was simply existing? If you were struck with righteous fury over the fact that you'd done nothing wrong and were being treated like a criminal? Sometimes these people fight back. Armed robbery in North Charlotte. The surveillance cameras pick up the suspect almost immediately after he walks into this convenience store. He's in dark clothes and a face mask to hide his identity. It's 9:45 p.m. when this robber walked into the store, and true to character, he needs to carry out his unholy business as quickly as possible. He walks over to the counter where he points a handgun at the chest of the cashier, who must be scared out of his wits at the moment. The cashier appears to be an elderly man as well. Watch him twiddle his thumb in what could be amazement or fear. The robber manages to grab the money on the cash register as well as some cigarette packs on his way out. He was fast and efficient while managing to hide his identity with his meager camouflage. House fire at Greensboro. The thick cloud of smoke and fire rising off the building is simply scary on their own until you realize that this is a residential area. The home on Grimsley Street was considerably burnt before the fire department was alerted to the danger by a neighbor who was quick enough to call 911.
I was a bit scared at first, but I knew that the fire department may be able to handle this and everything would turn out okay in the end.
Parts of the house were falling apart and the grass around the home caught fire as well. No one knows the cause, and one casualty is said to be recuperating at the hospital following the intervention of the fire department. Creepy creaky elevator. Down a creepy dark hallway where the corners are shadowy and you never know what's coming, you wouldn't want to get into this elevator. Surprisingly enough, it does work, but when the person hits the open button, they're treated to a creepy, creaky long noise as the doors open and close.
The creaky fail.
While this might be pretty mild in terms of how bad things can get, it does call the question. How many rides is it until the whole thing falls apart if it hasn't been properly serviced? This person happens to be okay, able to get in and get out, but some of the buttons just don't seem to have much response, and they're sort of just waiting for disaster by leaving it alone like that. Would you ride this elevator, having heard that noise? Let us know in the comments. What's your automatic no? Ohio CCTV catches ghost.
Oh, does it?
How would you respond in the events of a paranormal event? Watching the clip caught on CCTV is enough to make you wonder. These people watch as what appears to be a ghost walks in the background.
See how clear the mailbox is, too?
Oh my god!
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
Most of these sorts of clips have some deniability to them. People claim the clip isn't clear or you don't really know what's going on. In this case, however, you can see everything in the clip, including the ghost mentioned before.
I don't know if spooked is the right word, but like thought it was so real that they called out like the department.
Of course, this isn't enough to convince everyone, but it's more proof than most CCTV found footage ghost clips provide. What do you think? Ghost or hoax?
So
you know, like sometimes it's grainy video, but like that is
what is
that's
that?
more transparent. Yeah.
Brazen robbery at a dealership in Harnett County. The strategy for these miscreants was simple. Get into the dealership, grab the key box, and ride off into the sunset with very expensive high-end cars.
So it happened so fast, so we're looking at a 15-minute window.
The two cars in the first frame shows you their exit strategy, but before that, look closely to see when a truck pulls up and drops the criminals right in front of the dealership. They proceeded to smash through the dealership's doors with the stone seen in the video, break open a key box, and grab keys to some of the choice cars sitting pretty in the parking lot.
4 cars were valued over $90,000.
The camera captures about 4 guys, all in hoodies, but there's more since about 8 cars were driven off in a matter of minutes, all captured on the security camera.
That's one of our brand new Challengers. He's leaving, and that's a used Corvette.
At least 3 of the cars they stole cost over $90,000, and they managed to make off with cars worth $631,000. This heist was carried out in a matter of minutes. Werewolf-like creature found outside zoo. Security footage recovered from the Amarillo Zoo has the zoo staff baffled. Shot from a camera facing towards the outside of the enclosure, the footage shows what looks to be a werewolf. The creature has a wolf-like head, but it's standing on 2 legs like a human. It also looks rather large, about human size, so too big to be an actual wolf. The zoo states that the security of the facility had not been breached the night the image was captured, but they still have no—
Could this not just be a person wearing a werewolf costume? Wearing a wolf head? That's it. This could either be a person in a werewolf costume, it's all the same.
no idea as to what the creature actually was or what it was doing so close to the zoo. Hurricane Ida ravages Louisiana. This footage is of Hurricane Ida as it tears through different parts of Louisiana. You can see the wind buffeting the streets. When Ida came, it was a Category 4 storm, and it's considered one of the worst storms in the history of Louisiana. It brought with it torrential rainfall, as you can see in the videos, while the wind speed is up to 150 miles an hour. The Mississippi can be seen rising while the city's warned about the possibility of flash floods.
We are here in the heart of New Orleans just as this storm has made landfall. You can feel how strong these winds are. This is the Mississippi. This storm is testing the city's flood protection system.
You can see trees being torn apart like they're merely twigs with little resistance. Notice the tree lying forlorn on the floor and how the hurricane wouldn't let it be, even while it's been torn to the floor? It continues to be tugged on, dragging it along. Is that next slide a roof being torn off a home? You can still see the footage of the trees with their branches torn off at the stem to the top or even to the sides. Everything about the hurricane is scary, and you can't help but feel a deep concern for the people who were actually there, living through that storm. Old Finnish elevator. Sometimes it doesn't have to be ancient for an elevator to be unsettling. This video shows a classic elevator in Salo, Finland from 1972. It's been serviced and kept up enough, compared to some on the list, but this one has no front. As the elevator moves, you can see the floors and walls moving. This would be cramped under normal circumstances, but knowing you're pretty much only inches from being sucked into a metal contraption calls to memory an old Final Destination type horror movie. Once on the coerce level, the elevator stops before a door and the person can step out without issue. He then goes back down and there's no issue. It's just unsettlingly unfamiliar enough that most people wouldn't necessarily jump at the chance to ride in this old thing. What do you think? Would you be comfortable riding up and down in this one, or does it spark a certain level of deep anxiety in you, too? Cornered in a night shift debacle. Of course, anything goes on the night shift. It can be a run-of-the-mill traffic stop or a transient person trying to sleep somewhere they're not supposed to. Anything can happen, but that's not always within your control. Sometimes things get out of control despite your best efforts.
I'm just coming over because the security for the mall.
Yeah, I'm not gonna move at all. I will actually kill every fucker that comes here.
Okay, well, we don't want that. Okay?
I don't care.
Okay.
That's
okay.
what I'm where I'm at.
Okay, look, I'm just trying to talk to you.
Okay, I'm gonna sleep right here so you can do what you want to do.
Okay.
Either protect and defend, or I'm gonna destroy your human being. Understand?
I understand, but why are you coming at me?
Oh man, you're very aggressive. She's asking you to go sleep somewhere else. That's all she's asking. You don't need to make it a big hoopla. This is you're very aggressive for no reason.
Like that.
Well, I'm just letting you know.
And I'm just letting you know too, okay?
Don't tell me what to do at all.
I'm not letting you know. I'm not telling you what to do.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know what security has advised us. Okay?
I am security for the whole country.
Okay.
These officers were dispatched after a call about a belligerent unhoused person who was refusing to leave. They had to go through the proper avenues to report and trespass the man. However, things quickly got out of control when the officer approached him. He's aggressive, threatening her and everyone else if they try to remove him. He goes on a paranoid, violent rant, leaving the woman with few options. We won't show the moment the gun goes off, but the woman continues to shout and tell the rapidly approaching and hostile man not to come any closer. A second cop finally gets to the scene, pointing his gun at the downed man and asking his colleague for a rundown. She's out of breath, likely shaken hard by the events of this evening, as he asks her what happened or if the man was armed.
Shots fired?
Yeah, I shot him.
998?
Twice. Yeah.
Does he have a gun?
But he does not have a gun. I did not see anything on him. I said.
Okay. So this is when I can somewhat understand the thought process, right? This is a guy who is shoving her. She's by herself. There's a female by herself with this aggressive guy who was walking towards her by herself. Again, there's no one there with her. So she just reacts. Still could have used a taser, but I bet you I can understand probably in this time, in the thought process, going through your head, you don't really think, you just grab something that can defend you.
Only one suspect?
Only one.
Let's see, that's affirmed. Go ahead and roll 9-2-R. One suspect down. No outstanding. Stand by. Hold on. What did he have? A gun or a knife?
He doesn't do nothing. He just came at me and started hitting me really bad. And I went down.
Okay, just relax.
One more vantage point on the attack shows how the original officer manages to get away and how her attacker pursues her, leading the two of them back out into the street before she discharges her own weapon.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.